Yo, what is up, you guys? I've been thinking ever since that draft ended that this Dolphins defense actually could be top 5 in the league potentially. Some people might think that's a bit of a stretch, but I think most people have it at least in the top 10, maybe. But if you don't, I think that's a mistake because this Dolphins defense has completely loaded up. And I think especially when you have a mastermind at coach like Brian Flores, there is certainly a chance this could be at least top 5. Now, there is one concern that I do have. I'll go over that a little bit later. But I do think that there are plenty of reasons to still be optimistic about this defense. So we'll just kind of go over them here. Obviously, you still have Xavier Howard and Byron Jones at corner. Everyone knew from the get-go that this was going to be a success. And, no shocker, it was. Nothing else to really talk about here. Byron Jones, a baller. Xavier Howard, a complete baller. Just nothing else to really talk about here. Now, another thing that we should talk about is that they now stacked up on safeties. I've always liked Eric Rowe, but I'm seeing that they're maybe going to add Malik Hooker. This is made before that ever happens, in case this happens and you guys watch this video and hear me say this. But either way, I do like Eric Rowe in there. And then now we got new draft pick Javon Holland, which I think is a total freak. I think our secondary should be number 1 in the league after this. I mean, you have 2, I think, elite cornerbacks, and then you have a potentially at least top 5 safety unit as well. Like, I think that makes at least a top 3 secondary unit. That's just what I think, but it's not just the secondary. The linebackers still have potential with Jerome Baker and Andrew Van Ginkel. Now, they've thinned out a little bit ever since losing Kyle Van Noy, but I think they do still have some potential to be a really good linebacker unit, and I do like those 2 players, but we'll see what they do at the 3rd spot. We'll see if these 2 players even step up, but I think they both have done a good job, and they're 2 young players that I think have done a really good job at what they're being asked to do. And now this D-line could also be scary. Now that they've added Jalen Phillips, we actually have some help on the edge with Emmanuel Ogbah there as well. So now you have a really good pass rush duo. You have linebackers that I think have potential, and I think pretty easily the number 1 secondary in the league. But then, of course, you also have to add in Brian Flores, who I think is a great defensive mind. He's gotten a lot of these players to step up. I think his system fits these players really well, which obviously is what they were aiming for when they hired Brian Flores. But I think he's done a really good job at getting these players to step up and really get this defense to come together. Like, for example, Emmanuel Ogbah, it wasn't this huge free agent signing or whatever, but he turned him into actually a pretty good player, and he had a really good 2020 season. So I really believe in Brian Flores. I think the players also see him as a really good leader as well. So I do really like Brian Flores. And really with all those in there, I think that this alone could make the Dolphins defense one of the best units in the league. However, I do understand some of the concern here. One of them is that I think there were some fluky moments last year. They really, really knew how to turn the ball over, which is nice, and I'm glad they know how to do that, but it has been proven in the NFL that it's not super sustainable to just rely on getting 5 turnovers every week, seemingly. So you do got to factor that in a little bit. And I think there's other players that sometimes when they have breakout years, that really is just it for them, which I'm scared that could be the case for Emmanuel Ogbah, because that's just, that just doesn't, remember Vic Beasley for the Falcons, for example? He had a really good breakout 2016 season and then just kind of went back to where he was. I think there's unfortunately a chance it could be a similar situation. But I think the reasons I feel a lot more confident in that not happening is because of Brian Flores. Because remember, for the Falcons, for example, they just had Dan Quinn, a supposed defensive mind, supposed mastermind, but that Falcons defense was, I think it was worse in the league, or at least their secondary, my goodness. But either way, their defense was not good. And I think Brian Flores is just someone you can trust a lot more than some of these other guys. But really, aside from those 2 reasons, I think there is all the reason in the world to believe that this Dolphins defense could be top 5 in the league. And if that offense steps up, which I do expect, by the way, that's why I think there is just no reason this Dolphins team shouldn't be a playoff team. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm really interested. Do you guys agree with me? Do you think they're at least top 10? Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And until next time, fins up.